This is the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye collaborative for 2021 Ghostbusters Afterlife Ectotron Ecto-1. This figure was something I had wanted ever since I watched the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife, but the price tag was just ridiculous on this thing. Hobby shops were selling it for 70 bucks, 75, and retail price tags for this one at Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom, the local importer decided to price it at $80. It was ridiculous. It's a Voyager class figure that's selling for what, a masterpiece? A masterpiece figure. So I waited until it went on clearance, and luckily it did. It went on clearance for about $56. That's not a bad price. So I decided, try my luck again. And I was hoping there was a 10% discount at the cashier, and sure enough, there was. I ended up paying just a little over 50 bucks. I cannot wait to show this figure off. Let's get him out of packaging. And here is Ectotron out of packaging. And he actually turned out great. There's some slight color variations, a new head sculpt, but I'm actually liking this one a lot more than the first release. I know a lot of collectors want the first release, the original. It's cleaner. It is from the first two movies. But, when Afterlife came out, I watched it. Oh, I fell in love with that movie. And this figure is actually a lot closer. This is actually the Afterlife version of Ecto-1. So I don't know, a little biased, but I do prefer this one. So the sculpt is essentially the same. It's just a difference in color and the head sculpt. I actually prefer the beige-ish colors of the Afterlife Ectotron because it's a lot closer to the Ghostbusters jumpsuit. And I do prefer the silver chest over the beige chest. And as far as the head sculpt is concerned, the first version had a mouth and a nose and some goggles, while the newer version had painted goggles and a faceplate, which actually I prefer because it makes him look more like a robot. So the figure still has the exact same gimmicks as the first release. He's got this backpack, although it loves to get unhinged, and probably because of mold degradation, it just takes very little to unpeg that backpack. It's actually pretty cool. I'm not sure if the colors are the same. It just feels a little bit brighter. Here's the wand, the proton wand. You can actually hold it with both hands. You can do the It's a shame they did not put the blast effect or something like that we get from the plasma series. Now, if you're wondering about mold degradation, yeah, it does feel like there's some mold degradation, and it's a little more loose in some parts here and there. The joints do feel a little extra loose compared to the first release, but that's okay. I mean, it's expected. You get to see some of the the rusting here because unlike his predecessor, he did copy the Afterlife Ecto-1 and not the Ghostbusters 1 and 2 Ecto-1. If you want some size comparisons, here he is with Voyager class Starscream. He is essentially, I would like to think he's a big Voyager class figure, not really a leader class figure. So yeah, he's slightly taller than your average Voyager class figure. And here he is with a basic 5-inch figure. You have Trevor from the Ghostbusters Afterlife toy line. Definitely out of scale. If he were to appear in the movie, Trevor should only be up to here. Otherwise, he wouldn't fit in the car. Should only be up to the knees. The figure also comes with 2 ghosts instead of 1. The first version of Ectotron came only with Slimer. I'm not sure if it's the same one. It could be the same. Maybe a slightly different shade of green. And since he's from the Afterlife movie, this figure came with the Muncher ghost as well, which I thought was very nicely sculpted. actually pretty cool. They both have these 3mm peg holes. It's a shame he doesn't actually have any pegs you can mount them on. Transformation. Get rid of the accessories. Might as well go ahead and pop this off because it's just going to be a hindrance when you do transform the figure. Okay, unpeg these. Move this. Transform the backpack. Fold out the cyclotron. This one folds up and connect it right here. This one folds up like that. The hose, you might as well go ahead and do this. And just keep it like that with the wand. Fold in the fists. Swing out the halves of the bonnet. Fold up the arms this way. And then lift the wheels. And then rotate like this. Head, you're gonna tuck it inside the chest. Fold the arms and shoulder assembly and tab them together. These door panels or wings are gonna slide down. Same with this one. And then the feet, the trunk is gonna fold up, the heel spurs. Toes are gonna fold up. Open up these shins and fold them up. Close the shins. Tab the feet together. And just tab the whole leg assembly onto the body. And there you go, there's the Cadillac body, the Cadillac hearse. It's actually pretty long. And then the hard part is really putting these things in. And these peg holes are for these pegs. So you want to do that first. Okay. And then, at least that's what the instructions say. And then plug in the hose. That, plug it onto the side, plug it here, and that ladder, plug it back in, tab it onto the backpack, and then this hose, the yellow mustard hose is going to plug into the front like that, and there you go. There is Ectotron in his Ecto-1 alt mode. It's actually pretty nice. Lots of details. The only rusted bits are actually on the front, on the bonnet. You can easily, just buff those out with some rubbing compound or some alcohol. I guess you could do that. But everything else is clean. It just has this faded beige type of white. It's an off-white color. It feels like it's been left in the sun for a little bit, but that's actually how it looks like. It's actually a fresh kind of plastic, brand new plastic, but that's the effect I think the designers were going for. So yeah, I still kind of prefer this. Maybe I'm still on a high from watching Afterlife. That's why I'm pretty biased with this one over the first one, but I'm sure a lot of hardcore Ghostbusters fans, especially Transformers fans, are still going to prefer the first version, but I'm kind of happy with this one. If you want a size comparison, here he is with the DeLorean time machine. So scale-wise, they're kind of in scale. No, they're actually in scale, I think, because a person would have to be this tall, and if you want the 5-inch figure, obviously, it's like a toy car for him. It's a shame we don't have any smaller figures. Put Slimer right here, and then Muncher. You know what? Instead of Slimer, since we already got Slimer for the first release, maybe they could have just kept Muncher, and then they could have given us a small remote-controlled ghost trap to go along with this set. That would have been really nice. I think I would have appreciated that even more. So final thoughts on this collaborative Transformers crossover Ectotron. I still think it's a great figure. I'm a little partial on this version than the first version. Either way, I think it's a very good crossover. It's not as good as the Back to the Future crossover in my opinion, so I'm gonna give this figure a 9 out of 10. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this Afterlife Ghostbusters Ectotron collaborative Transformers figure. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.